Today's news, Koreans also target of racist incidents after Trump victory.
Not a single one of us in America or around the world can probably actually say that they've seen a US presidential election quite like this, but now we can all say it.
Well, that is something that I will definitely agree with. That is definitely true.
At least half of you, I would say, have voted for Trump, and so I don't want to make this sound like we're picking sides, but some really fucked up bullshit has been going down since Trump was elected, and that is what we are going to talk about now. I want to read a few headlines that are floating around the internet recently since the election finished. Time magazine: racist incidents are up since Donald Trump's election. These are just a few of them. Patch.com: acts of hatred, racism come in immediate aftermath of Donald Trump's election. The thing is that Koreans are not exempt, at least in the United States, from actions that might be less than desirable from people who, I guess, voted for Trump. I mean, are there people who voted for Hillary who are, you think, doing these sorts of racist acts towards Koreans and Asians and anyone who seems to be a recent immigrant?
Well, I think that some people who are doing these things aren't even necessarily old enough to vote.
But would you say that all of the people who are committing these acts of racism are younger than 18?
No, I wouldn't say that for sure. But I have seen various articles of young people who are just spouting whatever they hear maybe at home, and they're not educated. These comments, that's what I'm trying to say. It's not so much an age thing or who they voted for, but in this day and age, to be so racially biased is to be ignorant.
Anyways, there are a lot of people who are experiencing some sort of unfortunate racist experience out in public since the election who are posting on social media. I want to read one example. This young lady's name is Jen Che, which is of Korean ethnicity. I was at a bar with friends tonight. As the result became uncontestable, I called an Uber home. By mistake, I called an Uber pool. When it arrived, I shrugged and hopped in. My poolmate was an exuberant Trump supporter. I remained quiet. He asked, "What does a liar like Hillary know about running a country?" I then said, "I can tell you her stance on critical topics like ISIS, Drive to Mosul, education, women's rights, Citizens United, healthcare, and more." He then said, "You're the type of girl that Donald J. Trump should grab by the pussy and shut your mouth." I asked to exit the Uber. When I was outside, tears welled up in my eyes, not because some drunk guy said demeaning things to me, but because the words that came out from his mouth are the exact quote of a man America elected as President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief, and leader of the free world. It's pretty damn sad that this is just one of many, many, many on this particular article, which I will link below, that is what is happening now that the presidential election is over. I can remember so many of you in comments and just people that we've spoken to who, because campaigning in the United States is so ridiculously long, like almost 2 years, that we're just hoping for the election to end. Now that the election is over, I feel like the situation is worse than while the campaign was still going on.
It's awful that we've elected somebody who feels that they can say whatever they want and they don't have to respect other people.
But that's not what he's doing now that he's president.
No, of course not.
That's what he did to get into office.
And now that he's there, he's saying that we shouldn't be talking, other people should not be talking about other people in this manner. But he did that to get in office, so that kind of justifies racist people.
It's really unbelievable that this is what it's come to.
It really is. But going back to the whole Korean thing and why I feel that this is important is because Korean people are in the US to stay. In 2010, there was over 1.7 million Korean people. And of those 1.7 million, at least 1.1 million were naturalized citizens. They're US citizens, y'all.
I have something to say, and I want to make sure that I express it properly. If you're a white person, I think it's really difficult to fully understand what a non-white person might have to go through. I don't mean since the election, but I just mean in general. Throughout the course of history, whites in the modern history of humans, so let's say the last several thousand years, have had a better position in society than the rest of ethnicities.
Yes, especially white men.
Especially white men. It really does feel like this election was a win for racist people. And how else do we describe what happened for people who care about, for instance, the earth and the environment the way I know we both do? I mean, I look at things globally in my life these days. I don't just think of the United States because we've lived overseas for so many years and we know about all these other places and that they're actually real.
We kind of have this bubble that we live in where we think that we are the most important things in the world, and really that is not the case.
And on top of that, humans have this tendency to really, even though they don't think that personally they're doing this, virtually everybody just cares about themselves and what they can get or what they can do or what type of money they can make. And it's so difficult to see the bigger picture of the community in the group and the way that we need to see a better future for each other. These are the most difficult things that we are all grappling with. It just sucks that I feel like in the United States, governmental policies in the past 40 years have been so geared towards the rich and continue to be more and more positioned to help the rich get richer that 99% of the rest of Americans are all left behind, and a lot of you are hurting, and so you vote for Trump because you're just don't have any other way out. And then you have this one chance to make your voice heard, and it ends up becoming this thing that we're now talking about where white people, and I don't really know of any other ethnicity besides whites that are being racist towards non-whites in the United States, but we've seen so many incidences of this now in the last week. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and at the same time, it's not mind-blowing at all.
The reality is we're stuck in this reality. So how can we make this place better? And I think a huge part of that is by just opening your eyes and loving people and the people around you and coming together as a community, because really the president only has so much power. The power is actually within the people, and the number of people within the US and around the world far outweigh that of any great leader. And so if we could actually band together, we can really make change happen.
And we need this racist shit to stop. Comments down below, you guys, on this very sensitive but much needed to be talked about topic. Where do you live? What's your reaction to the election? How do you feel about hearing minorities being targets of racism in the United States now that a president that some people favor and some people don't favor has been elected? Click the like button, you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us. And don't forget to subscribe for more HallyuBack news. That's it. We're out of here. Hasta luego.
Bye.